Hey everyone, welcome back to Gastromania. Do you believe you could make roast pork in the comfort of your home just by using an air fryer? Join me today and I'll show you how.
Today's video will be slightly longer as it is more complicated to make roast pork.
Let's begin with the ingredients. First up, you're going to need a knob of ginger. Next, you're going to need 2 to 3 bunches of spring onions. And of course, you need some pork belly. I'm using about 1.2 kilograms, which should serve 6 people well. Next, you also need some white vinegar. This is for the skin, so it is best you have a whole bottle prepared. Moving on to the spice rub. First, you'll need about 3 tablespoons of 5 spice powder. This is the most important ingredient as it gives the characteristic taste of Chinese roast pork. Moving on, we have 1 tablespoon of ground white pepper. Next, we have 2 tablespoons of ginger powder. We will also need 1 tablespoon of cooking wine. As well as half a tablespoon of sesame oil. Next, we have about 1 teaspoon of fine salt to taste. Lastly, the secret ingredient is fermented bean curd. If you are unable to find this in Western countries, you may also substitute this with soy sauce. Both will give the saltiness and umami flavour to the roast pork. Last but not least, you will also need coarse salt to dry out the skin during the roasting process. Moving on, let's prepare the pork. First, chop up the green onions roughly. Do the same for the knob of ginger. These ingredients are here to remove the porky smell from the pork belly. Add the chopped up vegetables to boiling water. Then, add the pork belly into the boiling water. Let the pork belly boil in this mixture for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, prepare a bucket of ice water. Remove the pork and immerse it immediately into the iced water. Once the pork has been cooled down, use a paper towel and tap it dry. You will notice that the skin of the pork has softened considerably. With this, you can start poking holes into the skin of the pork. The purpose of this step is to allow fat from the pork to rise up through these holes so that it forms air bubbles and cause blisters in the skin of the pork. This ensures that the skin is crispy and you don't have to worry about breaking your teeth. You may also puncture some holes into the meat layer of the pork so that the seasoning can be done more effectively. After this, take a sharp knife and score the meat. This increases the surface area for seasoning to enter the meat as well as prevent excessive curling when the meat is chilling in the refrigerator. After this is done, spread the spice mixture we have prepared earlier. Take care to spread onto the surfaces on the side of the pork. Prepare a shallow bath of white vinegar. The liquid level of the white vinegar should be around the thickness of the pork skin. Immerse the pork and make sure that the skin is fully submerged in the vinegar. Cover the meat with a weighted object so that the pork does not curl excessively when we put it overnight in the refrigerator. The next day, you will notice that the liquid has changed considerably. This is because the acid within the vinegar has broken down the skin layer of the pork. Next, you have to wash the skin layer of the pork using room temperature water. This is absolutely crucial, otherwise your skin will taste slightly sour. After washing the skin, use a paper towel and tap it dry. You will notice that the skin has softened considerably and it's time to poke more holes. After poking more holes, put the pork back into the refrigerator. This time, leave the skin exposed so that it can dry up in the dry environment of the fridge. After about 6 hours, remove the pork from the fridge and add the remaining 5 spice powder on the meat layer. Then, wrap the meat in aluminium foil. Cover the exposed skin using the coarse salt. The salt will absorb the moisture from the skin during the initial roasting process. Put it in the air fryer for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees. After this process, you'll notice that the coarse salt has formed a hard layer. Break up the layer by lightly hitting it and remove the salt layer. We're going to roast the pork again at slightly higher temperature but without aluminium foil. It will take between 8 to 12 minutes at around 200 degrees Celsius depending on the size of your cut. After this, roasting is completed. Check out how crispy the skin of the pork is. The hose has also given it significant blistering. It might be pretty tempting to cut the pork right now, but you must let it rest for about 30 minutes. Otherwise, all the juices in the pork will be lost right after cutting. This will cause the meat to be drier than it otherwise should. Wrap the pork in aluminium foil and set it aside. After about 30 minutes, use a flat-edged knife to cut the pork. It's much easier to do the cutting from the side if you're not using a cleaver. Cut it up into bite-sized chunks and it is ready to serve. It is best to pair Chinese roast pork with clear sweet sauce, which brings out the taste of the 5 spice. And we have come to the end of today's episode. I hope you've learned something new today. Share with me in the comment section down below on when you're going to make your first roast pork. If you have enjoyed my video so far, do give it a thumbs up. At the same time, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you get updated whenever I upload my new recipes. And with that, I'll catch you later.